in Houston, Texas. My 20 brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's game 2 of this 3-game series to wrap up the season between the Houston Astros and the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros falling to a red-hot Cubs pitching staff last night, 2-0. And the Cubs have been doing a number on the mound lately, J.D.
Well, the Astros bats have certainly gone quiet, scored just 5 runs in that 3-game set in Cincinnati, shut out last night, and it's going to be tough tonight because they're up against the hottest pitcher in all of baseball. Carlos Zambrano has an ERA below 1 for the month of September. In his career against the Astros, 13-8 with a 2.63 ERA. Jay Happ's really been throwing the ball well. Also, his last 2 starts on the road trip, he allowed 2 runs. Neither of those were earned, but he came away with a loss and a no decision.
Coming up as the Astros and the Cubs get ready to finish this marathon tomorrow. Houston tries to turn it around, and the Astros bats hopefully will heat up in the penultimate game in just a moment. Down Houston, Texas. Jay Happ is ready to throw his first pitch. And Jeff Baker's ready to do something, either take it, offer at it. We'll find out in just a moment as the second baseman leads it off for the Cubs. And that first pitch is
in between.
Yeah, he didn't really take it, but he didn't really swing at it either. He fouled it for strike 1.
Opted for plan C.
Needed to give him more options there. He's hitting .271 with 4 homers. He's driven in 21. And plays a lot against southpaws. There's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Happ with a 2.77 ERA, finishing his first season as an Astro after coming from the Phillies in the Roy Oswalt deal. And he has pitched well, especially here at Minute Maid Park in his career. 4-0 with a 1.94 ERA. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, following up an outstanding rookie year with another solid season. Missed a bunch of time earlier with that forearm problem, but when healthy, Jay Happ has been very good this year.
And missing there. He's behind Baker 3-1 now.
It was a tight strike zone last night. Bud Norris walked 7. And so far, kind of tight tonight as well.
Looks like it, yeah.
Only 4 pitches in.
Leadoff walk. Baker is aboard with Castro coming up. And the lineup begins with Jeff Baker. Then it's followed by Starlin Castro at shortstop. Marlon Byrd's in center field. Aramis Ramirez at third base. Xavier Nady at first. Alfonso Soriano at left. Micah Hoffpower in right. Coy Hill the catcher. Carlos Zambrano the pitcher. Now the exciting rookie Castro. Shortstop with a lot of range. A big arm. And his bat has been solid. .298 his average. He moves back from ball 1. And Castro has scored 51 runs in his rookie season. He's had 460 at-bats, a lot of playing time. When the Astros were in Chicago a few weeks ago, he was being given a mental break. Missed a few games there to sit them out, as Mike Quaddy was working with him on his approach to the game, apparently. 1 ball, 1 strike. It seems to have worked. He's played well since then. And since July 10th, Castro has hit .321.
There's a lot on a young player's plate when you play a demanding position like shortstop. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if you're not focusing on the game.
That's lined toward the right field corner. Hunter Pence broke in a step, and now this pops into the crowd on 1 bounce for a double. Hunter took a false step in. Probably didn't really matter as Castro got his 31st double of the year. He hit it hard.
Castro, very talented young hitter. Quick bat, strong hands. Watch how this ball jumps off his bat. A little inside-out swing, and he just carves this one into right field, but with authority. And so Jay Happ in a bit of a bind already. Second and third, nobody out.
Infield lays back, and it's Marlon Byrd batting. Byrd took a rest last night. And he looks at strike 1 here with a .294 average, a dozen homers. He's driven in 63. Marlon has scored 83 this year. It's been a very good season for the center fielder.
Probably their most consistent player start to finish this year, an all-star.
He has 168 hits. That's his career high. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Marlon Byrd. He began his career in the Phillies organization. This is a career high for him in games played. 151. Played 146 for Texas last year. Had an excellent season for the Rangers. Happ delivers strike 2. It's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. In Happ's career, as you see the breakdown on Byrd, 310 with men on base. Happ is without a decision against the Cubs in 1 start, an ERA of 3. The white uniforms on a Saturday, and the final game of the season comes tomorrow. Astros minor league MVPs were honored before the game tonight, including a minor league player of the year, J.D. Martinez, and minor league pitcher of the year, Jordan Lyles. And then the most valuable player of each of the minor league teams also was honored. And they included Kobe Clemens at AA Corpus Christi. That's hit to shortstop. Runner coming to the plate. And Angel Sanchez throws out Byrd, who gets his 64th run batted in and makes it 1-0 Cubs.
That's the trade you're willing to take early in the ball game. Give up that run to get an out. Try to minimize the damage. Don't feel like that 1 run is going to beat you. Although, given the way the Astros have been swinging the bats lately and the fact that Carlos Zambrano is pitching for the Cubs and he's been on fire, who knows? That could be the deciding run.
Aramis Ramirez also rested in last night's game. He pops it back, strike 1. Bobby Scales played third last night and was on base all 4 times. Ramirez, the cleanup man with 24 homers, has driven in 79, and he's hit .242.
He's always been very good against the Astros. Big RBI numbers. Had some big games in this ballpark.
Happ delivers ball 1. Well, Ramirez, in fact, has more runs batted in against the Astros than any other active player, even more than Albert Pujols for his career. Had a little downturn in September, hitting .246, but he was strong in July and August. It's upstairs to him, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike to the former Pittsburgh Pirate third sacker. He has reached 20 homers and 75 runs batted in now, 8 times in his career. Pretty solid run producer. Castro, the runner at second, with 1 out. And it's 3-1. The Astros have made a change in tomorrow's starting pitcher. Wandy Rodriguez just couldn't get the back healthy enough to pitch tomorrow. He had back spasms when he came out and played some catch today. So he has been scratched, and it's going to be Nelson Figueroa pitching on 3 days rest tomorrow afternoon. Fouled away, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Cubs have finished very well with Mike Quade, their skipper. He'll go with Ryan Dempster tomorrow, 15-11, Dempster's record. Figueroa is 6-4, and coming off a very good game at Cincinnati. We'll be on the air on FS Houston at 12:30 with the pregame show. Astros live for the final time in 2010. Foul back. The Astros have already clinched a win in the season series, but Mike Quade's Cubs have really been putting up more fight than earlier this year when the Astros played well against the Cubs, and they are 10-6 overall against Chicago. Under Quade, the Cubs have won 7 of 11 series, and they're 23-12. Ramirez draws a walk, second of the inning, and now it's Xavier Nady coming up.
Now let's take a look at the Astros defensively tonight. A little different look. Brian Bogusevic gets his first career start out there in center field. Anderson Hernandez making his 7th start at second base. The youngsters in the lineup tonight: Wallace, Johnson, Castro, Sanchez, Jay Happ. A lot of first-year guys, second-year guys.
Bogusevic in center. Jason Bourgeois started the last 10 games out there. Michael Bourne out with the strained oblique. Xavier Nady at .253 with 6 homers has driven in 33. Nady looks at it. It's strike 1 for Jay Happ. Nady came up and delivered a pinch single in the 8th inning last night, and the Cubs 2-0 win. They got by on only 6 hits last night. They stranded a dozen, but the pitching was superb. Coleman, Cashner, and Marmol combining on a 7-hit shutout. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jay having a hard time locating the breaking ball. Nady loves to hit the fastball, so normally the game plan against Nady is if you can get ahead of him, then start to feature the soft stuff, moving out of the zone, try to get him to chase.
That's foul outside the right field line. Nady has a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Derek Lee, of course, traded during the season. He had a big game for the Braves last night, but now it's getting really interesting in the wild card race. Atlanta has fallen behind the Phillies 5-0, bottom of the 8th inning in Atlanta. And the San Diego Padres have a chance to tie the Braves for the wild card lead. They are winning in the late stages. They now have won 4-2 over San Francisco. And not only are they tied for the wild card lead with the Braves, but they are 1 game behind the Western Division leading Giants with 1 game to go now.
How about that? San Diego loses 3 out of 4 at home to the Cubs. And then they go up to the coast to San Francisco to play the Giants and win the first 2 of that series. Now Bruce Bochy is forced to use Tim Lincecum tomorrow. I'm sure he was hoping not to have to do that. But because if all 3 of those clubs end with 91 wins, the Giants would be the team that would have the playoff with Atlanta. San Diego would win the West.
Yeah, they hold the tiebreaker. You see 9 earned runs allowed in the first inning by Happ, And the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Nady.
He's had stretches this year where he's had a hard time finding the strike zone. It hasn't cost him too much. A couple of starts, one in particular in St. Louis, he could never really get dialed in. When you look at his walk to strikeout numbers, they're not particularly good. But he's been effective because it's been so hard to hit. The batting average against him is very low.
217.
Yeah.
Last time out, the Astros got a run in the top of the first at Pittsburgh. Happ went to work and was pitching shutout ball until the 6th when a couple of unearned runs scored. And he left trailing 2-1 and lost that game. He walked 2 in 6 innings in that start. That is strike 3. Maybe caught looking. Very big call for Happ, who now will face Soriano.
Well, Nady thought it was in. Pitch Tracks thought it was in. Lance Barrett thought it was on the plate.
Soriano, a .254 hitter, has 24 homers. He's driven in 78 runs. Soriano was the number 4 hitter last night. He had a hit and drew 2 walks. Taking ball 1 there. Soriano looks at that one. It's a strike to even the count at 1-1. Soriano has his 9th straight year with at least 20 home runs. One of only 5 players to reach that mark 9 years in a row. 257 and 20 homers for him against Houston for his career. And he lines one into the left field corner. Castro around to score to make it 2-0 Cubs. And it's an RBI double for Soriano, his 40th 2-base hit. RBI number 79, advancing Ramirez to third base.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
It's a mostly right-handed hitting lineup for Mike Quade here tonight. Hoffpower swings from the left side. Maybe Happ can take advantage of this matchup and finally finish off the Cubs here in the first.
Hoffpower takes a look at ball 1. Hoffpower last night grounded out all 4 times, once into a double play. He walked in the first inning last night as he played first base. And he's in right field tonight. Hoffpower looks at another one. 2 balls, no strikes for the lefty hitter from Lamar University. 2 for 10 with 2 outs and men in scoring position, and he has 2 men in scoring position right now. Cubs have not needed many runs to win lately. The way Carlos Zambrano has pitched, they have to feel good about what they're doing right now. 2 balls and a strike. The Cubs 4-1 on this road trip, and the batting average against their pitchers has been 184 in those 5 games. That's hit foul.
And this is a big at bat here. The way Zambrano's been going along. 2-0, not so big a deal. He gets a base hit here and drives in 2. It's going to be a pretty big hill to climb, even though you've got 9 at bats in front of you. Zambrano has an ERA below 1 here in the month of September. He has rediscovered his sinker.
Hoffpower swings at it and strikes out. The Cubs break the ice early with 2 runs coming in on 2 hits. They strand 2, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts in the inning, and it's 2-0 Chicago. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Bottom of the first inning, the Cubs got 2 in the top half. Folks watching from the top deck of Union Station. Some of the Astros players were taking aim high up on that building during batting practice with an aluminum bat today. That was fun to watch. There's the leadoff man, Anderson Hernandez. He's playing second base in this game for Brad Mills. And behind him, shortstop Angel Sanchez bats second. It's Hunter Pence in right field, Carlos Lee in left. Brian Bogusevic is the center fielder. Chris Johnson's at third base. Brett Wallace at first. Jason Castro the catcher for Jay Happ. Big Carlos Zambrano has been in a groove. 7-0 with a 1.27 ERA in his last 10 starts. Lost to the Astros here back in June, but he's been a different guy since then, and there's strike one.
Let's see what he has done in August and September. Really good in August and otherworldly here in September. An ERA of 0.78. He's on the restricted list for a time, and took that opportunity to retool his delivery a little bit, working to get his arm angle back up on top to get more sink on the ball. When he first came to the big leagues, that's what kind of stuck out in my mind. A good sinker.
Anderson Hernandez with a 2-hopper. Jeff Baker takes care of the first out.
It stuck out in my mind is what it did. Well, here are the Cubs defensively tonight. Soriano, Byrd, Hoffpower, infield of Ramirez, Castro, Jeff Baker, Xavier Nady, Troy Hill behind the plate. The Cubs have made 124 errors this year. Only the Nationals and the Pirates have made more.
Angel Sanchez, the batter. And that one comes in for strike one to a 283 hitter with no homers. 25 runs batted in for Angel. He had a good road trip. This fly ball goes to right field. Hoffpower moving in a few steps. Zambrano gets out number 2.
The Cubs with the early advantage in time of possession. They're up there for about 20 minutes, and the Astros have gone out 1-2 here on 6 pitches.
Zambrano has a nice stretch of scoreless innings, 15 in a row. Hunter Pence, 25 homers, 91 runs batted in, a 285 average. Up to challenge him now.
Well, getting up on top to get sink on the fastball, I think, was necessary because he's lost velocity. In his prime, who's to say he's not still in his prime, but when he was at his best, he was throwing 93, 94, 95 at times. It could blow by you. For the most part this year, that fastball's been sitting 88, 89. So if it's flat with run, that's very toolable for a hitter. But if he gets on top and the ball has some sink in the zone, that's a ground ball pitch. Get toolable.
Okay. Little tap back to Big Z. Takes him quickly through the first inning with the Cubs leading it 2-0.
best fans in baseball. And for the final game of the season tomorrow, join us, the Cubs. It's Fan Appreciation Day. A prize will be awarded every half inning to lucky fans in attendance. Prizes include gifts from Dr. Guy Lewis, Justex, Coca-Cola, Firestone, and more. All you got to do to get tickets in advance is visit Astros.com. That's the spot, guys.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Greg.
Big tomorrow.
Yeah. Greg, we were enjoying watching batting practice tonight.
I had an email or somebody said, hoping we had video, and I said, alas, it was too early.
Little roller to Wallace, and he tosses to Happ. But we can describe what happened. We can describe how Hunter Pence hit one off the lights.
Yeah, the extreme right side of the lights, the Sammy Sosa lights.
This was with the aluminum bat. He hit it up there.
Yeah.
And Carlos Lee was taking aim on Drayton McLean's office window. He fell just short of that, but he did hit one pretty high up on that building.
He had another one to the right that might have hit in Crawford Street on the fly. It was really crushed. And Q was doing some damage early.
Oh, didn't see that.
Well, he wasn't hitting them as far, but he was hitting stuff that you don't see Q hit in batting practice. Just an object lesson, guys, why the aluminum bat does not have a place in professional baseball. The guys are too good.
Dangerous.
There's some amateur leagues that have outlawed them, too. Where the ball jumps off the bat. Some youth leagues.
Yeah, that's a danger on the infield, danger of the pitcher. We're just admiring the distance.
Oh,
it's all about the coefficient of restitution.
Is that what we're going to be doing at Monday afternoon? Restitution? 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Z, Zambrano. Now here's a guy who can hit with 12 hits and 49 at bats, a .245 average, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in. Switch hitter. Very powerful hitter throughout his career. And he takes a look at that.
Carlos, just 29 years of age. Boy, he's been around a good long while now, but came up as just a pup. So he still has a chance to put up a lot of wins in that Cub uniform. He's had some big games in this ballpark, both on the mound and in the batter's box.
4 home runs at Minute Maid Park for Carlos Zambrano, who works the count full.
For some reason, I'm thinking he got one as a pinch hitter. I don't know. Seems to stick out in my mind.
Okay. We can check on that. This one goes foul, first base side, and it's a 3-2 count to Big Z from Venezuela. Had the anger management counseling earlier this year, returned as a reliever, and now converted back to starting and doing quite well. In the dirt, he draws a 1-out walk. That's number 3 for Jay Happ.
This is, as I mentioned in the first inning, Jay can get into these funks where he can't find the zone, and you just have to kind of hang in there and battle. He's shown the ability to work his way out of it. The fear, of course, when you're missing out of the zone is you get a couple guys on, and then you miss right down the middle, and somebody jacks one on you.
Jeff Baker opened the game with a walk and came around to score. Now he loops a line drive over Sanchez into left center field. Advancing Zambrano to second, and it's 2 on, 1 out for Castro now.
Well, big doings in Atlanta this weekend. Obviously, the Braves in the chase for the wild card, but Bobby Cox finishes his career this weekend if they don't go to the postseason. So before the game today, he was given a 2010 Lexus LS 460, an 11-night cruise from his players. A bunch of the old guys came back. Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, Dale Murphy, Phil Niekro, Gary Sheffield, David Justice. He would probably trade it all for a win.
Sure he would.
My kingdom for a W.
Yeah, he does not want to go out without that playoff spot. Ball 1 to Castro. Castro ripped a double into the right field seats. And looks at that one for a 2-ball, no strike count. Barry Zito was the loser today for the Giants. Tim Stauffer won it for the Padres. There you see that Atlanta score. Phillies lead at 5-0 after 8. Cincinnati winning over Milwaukee. Milwaukee a couple of games in front of the Astros when play began today. There's that 4-2 final for the Padres. 2 balls, 1 strike. And Stauffer really stepping up big. The Padres got 2 in the first off Zito and took that to the bank. And their vaunted bullpen came through. Gregerson, Adams, and Heath Bell pitching well at the end. Bell got his 47th save.
Hey. Come on, Lance.
3 balls and a strike. Now, last night, Bud Norris walked 7. And the Astros pitchers walked 8 in the game.
Yeah, see, dotting that strike zone. It should be 1 ball, 3 strikes. It should be a 1-3 count right now, and it's 3-1. If you believe the technology.
Castro walks and the bases are loaded. That's 4 for Happ now.
Create a conference on the mound. Middle infielders come in. Jason Castro out. Arnie on the horn. This is what I was talking about. You get into a situation where you're misfiring, and you're just as likely to make a mistake over the plate to a dangerous hitter. And now the Cubs have 3, 4, 5 coming up. So this is where if you've been nibbling, you've got to commit to it. You continue to try to make your pitch. You cannot give in. Marlon Byrd's not Babe Ruth, but he's certainly capable of hurting you.
Henry Villar is getting loose. Byrd was unruth-like in the first. He grounded out to short, but that got a run home.
He was in the favor there. Yep.
Sure did. Strike 1.
So this pitch change up. Byrd a little greedy there, guessing fastball. Figuring, he's got to get a jump on me. He's got to throw one right down the channel.
Maybe not. Ramirez on deck. Bogusevic shading toward left center here for Byrd. And it goes over shortstop into shallow left center field. Scoring Zambrano. And the throw is going to be cut off. It's a 2-run single for Byrd, giving him 3 runs batted in already. And the Cubs are really taking advantage of these base runners now, as Bird's RBI count is boosted to 66 now.
He hit a ground ball to short, and he hit this little flare into shallow left. And we got 3 driven in.
In a 4-0 game, there's another meeting at the mound now.
And unfortunately, you're only given 1 mulligan around, so nothing you can do about this. You're going to have to live with it.
Brad Arnsberg trying to help Jay Happ figure things out here. Cubs have 4 runs on 4 hits. Byrd coming through, and it's Ramirez batting with runners at first and second now. The Cubs have scored 681 runs this year. They rank 10th in the National League. Ramirez drew that walk in the first inning. Yankees are leading at Boston 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th in game 1 of a doubleheader.
Rained out last night, double dip today. Tampa Bay trying to beat Kansas City. They've had a hard time doing that. Yankees with a half-game lead over the Rays coming into play today for the best overall record in the American League. Twinkies have been scuffling lately.
Yeah.
Swing batter. Hey, better.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if the Yankees finish first, looks like they're going to be playing Texas again in the first round of the playoffs. Rangers have made the playoffs 3 times. They've met the Yankees in all 3 of those series, and they've won a total of 1 game. That's out into right field. Hunter Pence charging and makes the grab. Drew the arm back, looking at first base. Wallace was trying to get there, but Byrd slid back in. 2 outs. Now Xavier Nady, he struck out looking in the first.
The Rangers are the only big league club to never have won a playoff series.
Well, they have Cliff Lee throwing well again now. Nady takes strike one. They're getting Josh Hamilton back in the lineup. He played last night and made a diving attempt in the outfield, much to the chagrin of many of the fans.
Why did he do that?
I have no idea.
Instincts just took over,
Yeah,
huh?
I guess so.
Gotta check him.
Fly ball, right field line. Hunter Pence dashing over. And that's the third out. Two more runners come home for the Cubs in the second inning. On 2 hits, they strand 2, and it's 4-0 Chicago. Enjoying the weather and the view from above. They're on top of Union Station, which will celebrate its 100th year next year. Carlos Lee leads it off. 4-0 Cubs. Carlos Zambrano delivers strike one to Lee. A .245 hitter, 23 homers, 88 runs batted in.
And he has worn out Carlos Zambrano over the years. Among major league hitters with at least 30 plate appearances, nobody has hit Zambrano better than Carlos Lee.
.393, 5 homers, 14 driven in. 1-2. Zambrano no-hit the Astros in the 2008 season in Milwaukee. Lee with good numbers to wrap up this season, and he's had to come a long way in homers and runs batted in since the end of May to get there. He's facing a man in Zambrano whose .613 career winning percentage as a starter is the highest in Cubs franchise history. Higher than Fergie Jenkins' .564. And that one hung, and he hit it foul.
Yeah, he's been up a little bit on both the sinker and the slider. And high sinkers generally don't work out too well for a pitcher. Hopefully, if he continues to do that, the Astros can take advantage.
Chopped over the mound. Castro cuts across. There's one out for Big Z. Usually gets a lot of outs on the ground with that sinker.
Yeah, that was certainly his MO when he first came into the league, and then the longer he was in the league, the more he got more fly balls and was a power guy who could strike you out. Started to lean more heavily on the slider than the sinker. It's going to be interesting to see this change and how well he's able to maintain it next year.
Sure is. Strike two, Chicago area native Brian Bogusevic. .227 for Brian. No homers, 3 runs batted in. He went to the same high school where 8 different Chicago mayors attended. Ground ball knocked down. Zambrano scrambles and throws him out on the stretch by Nady. 2 outs. Barehanded it.
It's now, you know, I guess you got to go out and check on him, but he looks like he's fine. It's kind of become the norm now. Anytime somebody gets hit with the ball or anything, the trainer comes out, the manager has a big meeting. It used to be they just look out at you and he's, I'm good, and you just kind of kept playing. And everybody's afraid of the trainer probably feels like, well, if I don't go see Zambrano, the club's got a lot of money invested in this guy, I'm going to get fired.
Right.
Quaddy, the manager's probably thinking the same way. Got to go through the motions.
Now Chris Johnson looks at ball 1. Chris at 309 has 11 homers. He's driven in 51 this season. An excellent rookie year for CJ. He and Buster Posey lead Major League rookies in batting average. And he smacks a line drive and becomes the first Houston base runner right through the box for a Johnson single.
CJ's been on a little bit of a downturn lately, so it'd be nice if he could finish strong today and tomorrow. Even if he doesn't, it's been a very nice rookie year for him.
He's on for Brett Wallace. Wallace on a 3-game hitting streak, has 5 hits and 12 at-bats. He has hit one of his 2 long balls against the Cubs in Chicago. There's strike 1 to Brett. 221 for Brett with 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. He was saying on the way out of the ballpark last night that he may go back to Arizona State and try to get in some more credits toward his degree this winter. He's promised his mother that he will finish that degree. And he's checking into that. No balls, 2 strikes. That's the same thing Jason Castro will do at Stanford this winter. And now he said you can do so much of your classwork online. It's really helpful. Catcher Coy Hill blocked that one. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Jason Castro's on deck. The Astros have not scored for their last 16 2/3 innings. It's 2-2. Cubs pitchers have not given up a run for their last 22 innings.
It's a bad combination for the Astros.
It certainly is. That's out into right field. Off power, in for the catch. No runs a hit, a runner stranded after 2, 4-0 Cubs. Alfonso Soriano drove in a first inning run with a double to left. Cubs have 4 hits. J. Happ delivers, and it's strike 1. Astros are 1 game ahead of the Cubs. Houston in 4th place, Chicago in 5th right now in the NL Central. Foul back, and it's 0-2. Yankees 5, Red Sox 4. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway. Andy Pettitte gave up 3 earned runs in 4 innings as the Yankee starter. It's 1-2 to Soriano, and we think that is the Hopkins family. We got an email from them, and the 6-month-old is attending her first game. She has an Astros cheerleader outfit on.
Not even watching the game.
First ball game. What took her so long? 2-2. In return for ball 3, full count to Soriano. They're out in right center field. So they'll be getting a nice view of the downtown buildings from there. Happ misses in, and that's ball 4. Soriano draws the 5th walk for J. Happ in this game.
And the question is, how patient will Brad Mills be here with Jay struggling to find the strike zone? Had to VR up last inning.
Brad Arnsberg with arms folded, hoping Happ can get it figured out with Hoffpauir the batter now. Hoffpauir struck out in the first. Bud Norris with 7 walks had the high for a Houston pitcher this season last night. And now Happ is giving him a run for it. And there's ball 1.
Now, the Cubs are not a real patient team. Typically don't draw a lot of walks. So if you can get the jump on them and set the tone, then you'll get them to chase those balls out of the zone. But Jay has not been able to do that. So they're much more in take mode now than they are in swing mode.
Sanchez steps on second.
That'll help.
Double play, 6-3. He was positioned right there where the ball was hit.
Perfect double play ball. Hit pretty hard, but right at Angel, and just a couple of steps to the bag. Very handy. This date in Astros history was brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. On this date in 1986, Mike Scott's bid for a second straight no-hitter ends on a Will Clark leadoff double in the 7th. Mike will strike out 8, a 2-1 win, ending the year with 306. Becoming just the 3rd National League right-hander to strike out 300 or more in a season. And JR did it, I think, a couple of times.
Sounds right. Coy Hill has a 1-1 count. Switch hitting catcher grounded out to Brett Wallace his first time up. That's foul ball. For a 1-2 count with Zambrano on deck.
Nolan Ryan struck out 300 on a number of occasions, but I don't know that he ever did it in the NL.
Breaking pitch misses, and Hill goes to a 2-2 count with Zambrano looking for a helmet. That's lined into right center field. Hill has a gapper. It rolls all the way to the bullpen fence. He's turning around second base and holding up there. A double for Hill, his 13th of the year. Big number 5 for the Cubs. So the double play ball was very well timed for J. Happ. But now he faces Zambrano.
Coy Hill has not done a lot with the bat this year, just a .216 batting average with 1 home run coming into this game, but puts a good swing on that one.
Brett Wallace trailing the runner, and he was there when Bogusevic's throw sailed over the relay man, and Zambrano here takes strike 1. Zambrano walked and scored in the 2nd inning. Carlos has hit 21 career homers. That's tops in Cubs franchise history for a pitcher. Fergie Jenkins hit 13 for them. Grounds that one foul. It's no balls, 2 strikes for the big Venezuelan. Zambrano hit 6 homers in 2006. He is 6 for 17 this year with men in scoring position. That's where Coy Hill is. Ryan's high was 270 strikeouts in the National League in 1987. So you are correct on that, sir. That was the year he won the ERA crown, right, Boots? And was 8 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy year.
First pitcher to lead the league in ERA and strikeouts and not win the Cy Young Award.
Zambrano was suspended after a dugout tirade June 25th in a game against the White Sox. And he had to take that time off for the anger management. Come back as a reliever before he was reinserted into the starting rotation. 1-2. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. When Zambrano no-hit the Astros at Milwaukee in September of 08, he walked 1 and struck out 10. That was the first no-hitter by a Cub since 1972. Milt Pappas. That's strike 3. And Happ ends inning number 3 with his 3rd strikeout. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded. It's 4-0 Cubs.
Let's look ahead, though, because there's a lot of new players on this team, and this team is expected to be much more exciting next year, and that means it's time to think about Texas and tickets. 2011 season tickets are already on sale. You can lock up great prices, saving up to 23% off individual ticket prices by purchasing your season tickets before November 1st. Visit Astros.com for more details and to purchase those tickets. You know, the season is finishing on a down note, certainly, but the prospects for next year are optimistic. They always are in baseball with all these young players, guys. We expect much improvement next year, don't you?
Well, we like what we've seen of these kids, Greg. And there's ball 1 to Castro. He could be a big part of it if Jason, who has hit .202 with 2 homers and 8 runs batted in, gets it rolling with a bat next season. And he's had a big load learning everything he's had to learn, and smacks one on a line there into right center field. So the defensive part of it has been quite a challenge. He takes a big turn. Certainly came up with a nice swing of the bat that time. And yeah, the way this club has played, 39 and 32 since the All-Star break, there's certainly reason to think that the moves have been good, especially the in-season moves that Ed Wade has made with this club.
I'll be a little bit of the fly in the ointment. I'm not really thrilled with what I've seen from most of the young guys, but I still hold out hope that the young guys are going to be able to deliver. Because really, when you look at the numbers of the young guys, position players, only Chris Johnson really performing well. Angel Sanchez too. But look what Craig Biggio did his first year in the league.
Right.
And then when you look at what Castro's done, not dissimilar. It takes a while. Castro and Wallace are just a couple of years removed from hitting with metal bats in college, and sometimes you can get in some bad habits, and those swings are going to have to be tweaked a little bit. But it's still way too early to come to any kind of a conclusion based on this year's numbers.
Sure it is. And the nice thing about it is that disregarding the numbers, they've had the playing time. They've had a chance to see what Major League Baseball is all about. Bunt by Happ, fielded by Hill, and he throws to Baker. Sacrifice, 1 out. Third sacrifice for Happ. So Happ gets a runner over. First Astro runner to second base, and it's Hernandez coming up. Anderson with a good swing last night as a pinch hitter, and he's done extremely well in those limited at-bats and pinch hitting roles, now getting a rare start. And he bounced out the first time up. That's ball 1. Yeah, it's really hard to know after a guy's rookie season, and many times that's only a portion of the year. It might be 2 months, it might be 6 weeks for some. What to expect from that point on?
Yeah, because we talk so much about young players when they come into the league, how as an organization you want to find out about those players, but the players are finding out a lot about themselves too, and what worked in college, what worked in the minor leagues might not be working up here, but very difficult to make that change on the fly in season, your first taste of major league competition. Now you get the off season to kind of regroup and think about it and start to work on making some adjustments. And you expect guys that are quote unquote high ceiling, high draft pick guys to have the ability to make the adjustment. They don't always do it. There's been plenty of guys that were top draft picks that everybody thought they were going to be world beaters, and it never pans out. But you kind of feel pretty good about Castro and Wallace and their chances of figuring things out.
That's ball 2, and it's 2-2 to Anderson Hernandez. Boston got a run in the 8th and tied the Yankees 5-5. New York now batting top of the 9th at Fenway. Robinson Cano hit his 29th home run in that game. Now it's a full count.
Anderson Hernandez, switch hitter. Most of his at-bats have come from the left side. Most switch hitters are better from the left than the right.
He takes a walk this time after delivering a pinch single off Andrew Kashner in the 8th inning last night. We have a birthday list. There is Gene Dias, and who's the Astros Director of Media Relations. His son Maxwell is 10. Happy birthday, Maxwell. Ozzie Navarro has a birthday. Sting, Groucho, Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, who's the last name on the list now? You're the only one who can pronounce this.
František Ignjak Antonintuma.
That sounds like something that should be removed.
Composer.
Quickly, okay. Amani Tuma.
Toma, that was a good show. Dave Toma. Remember that one?
No.
Toma, he was a detective.
No, I remember George Toma, the Kansas City groundskeeper.
Hung out with Beretta, I think.
What a slick double play as Baker stood right in there with Hernandez sliding into him. And it went from Castro to Baker to Nady. No runs a hit. Man left for the Astros, and it's 4-0 Cubs. is the runner at first. And there's the ball hit by Sanchez to shortstop. Castro gets it to Baker. Baker with the sliding Hernandez going to the inside of the bag is able to avoid contact here.
Yeah, Hernandez goes in late. He goes in high, but Baker taking elusive action there, able to avoid contact and complete the double play. He's stepping behind the base for a little protection.
That's strike one to Baker. Baker has scored twice already with a walk and a single for Jeff. That's a good point. The middle infielder can use that base for protection from the runner and use that as a shield. Sometimes you'll see a step back toward the outfield, actually, with that in mind. But the base can block the runner a little bit.
Well, you just don't want to become predictable as a middle infielder. Second baseman making the turn. You either go behind the bag, go inside, or go across the bag. And the base runner kind of trying to guess where you might be.
Mm-hmm. Well, for instance, if all the base runners know that the second baseman in this case always comes across the base to the inside, that's where they're going to slide. That's their target, to try to disrupt that double play throw. Reaching forward, he grounds on one hop. Chris Johnson, whoa! A throw pulled Wallace off the bag. It sailed on him, and Baker is safe at first base.
CJ's had some issues defensively this year, and a lot of it's throwing plays just like that, where he'll get underneath the ball, and the ball will sail on him a little bit. It's something he could probably work on a little bit this winter, next spring. Kind of gets that elbow low, and that ball will have a tendency to take off on you.
Mm-hmm. That's his 18th error. And Baker the runner for Castro now. Castro has a double and a walk. Strike. Marlon Byrd on deck. Boston's batting now in the bottom of the ninth, tied with the Yankees, 5-5. And Phil Hughes is in the game in relief for the Yankees. Interesting move by Joe Girardi. 1-1. Now, some in Cubs land think that Joe Girardi would be the number one choice if he became available to manage the Cubs.
Don't see that happening.
No, I don't either. And
former Cub Northwestern guy, has ties to the area, of course, and has established himself as a major league manager. I don't know what his relationship is with Jim Hendry or the ownership of the Cubs.
The Yankees typically do not extend players or managers during the season. They talk after the season on contracts. Strike, 1-2, and they're also going to have to deal with Mr. Jeter at the end of this season as well. But some think if the Yankees crater and lose in the first round of the playoffs, maybe they would not invite Girardi back. That would be shocking. Little roller. Castro indecision with Happ. They both waited for the other to take it, and it goes as an infield roller for a hit for Castro.
There's been a whole lot of ugly so far in this game from the Astros' point of view. And Jay struggling with his command, offense not able to get anything done, and some misplays in the field. Not an easy play here. This ball rolling out away from Castro. Happ assumes Jason's going to get it. Castro assumes Happ's going to make the play. And at the end of the day, nobody does.
It's hit number 6 for the Cubs. And now big trouble with 2 on, nobody out for Marlon Byrd, who's driven in 3 already. And he hits that one foul right field side. Yeah, ideally the catcher makes that play, but that had rolled far enough out from the plate.
Yeah, it was kind of in the tweener zone out there.
It's Tampa Bay 3, Kansas City nothing. They've played 3 in Kansas City. Carl Crawford hit his 19th homer. Foul back, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. So playoff seeding's very much still up in the air in both leagues right now, other than the Phillies nailing down the top National League playoff seed. Cincinnati beat Milwaukee today, 7-4 the final there. Logan on Brusek, the winner. Todd Coffey, the former Red, lost it. Save number 39 for Francisco Cordero. Jay Bruce hit 2 homers. He has 24. Soft fly ball, could be trouble. And Bogusevic can't get there for the catch. The bases are loaded. Anderson Hernandez also with his back to the infield couldn't run it down. And Byrd has a looping single.
Hard to believe he could get a base hit softer than the one he got last time up, but he managed to do it. Marlon Byrd has unbelievable mojo here tonight. He hits a little changeup. Not the pitch, but the ball he hit. He took a little something off and feathered it out there in front of Bogusevic.
Henry Villar's warming up again. Bases loaded, nobody out. Aramis Ramirez is the batter. Bogusevic sliding. 4 runs on 7 hits for the Cubs. Ramirez 0 for 1 with a walk.
And it's just one of those games when you know you're throwing more balls than strikes, and you're having these long innings. It upsets the rhythm of the game, and plays tend not to get made behind you. He needs an atom ball right here.
Oh, doesn't he, though? Instead, it's a long drive to left field. And Carlos Lee watching it go over his head. And a grand slam for Aramis Ramirez. The Cubs really blow it open here with the 4 runs in the 4th inning. Nobody out, and it's an 8-0 lead with Ramirez connecting for his 9th career slam. That's his 20th homer at Minute Maid Park.
We've got a developing trend here. Brett Myers the other night in Cincinnati came 1 out shy of working 6 innings in every start this year, so his season ended on a sour note. Bud Norris had a chance to get his 10th win last night. He ended up with an L, and now Jay Happ chased after giving up 8 in 3+ innings.
Settling into the Landry's Crawford boxes. Chicago 8, Houston nothing. Back in a moment. With the score 8-0 Cubs, Henry Villar's in the game. And his first pitch, ball 1. As Xavier Nady is the batter, he is struck out looking, and he's fly to right.
You know, the Astros haven't come from down 8 all year long.
No?
They are due.
Running out of time to do that.
Miraculous comeback.
1 ball, 1 strike. And now dipping into the bullpen here in the 4th inning, knowing that tomorrow's starter, Nelson Figueroa, is working on 3 days rest and probably won't be expected to throw all that many pitches. It's tapped on 2 hops, maybe 3. Yeah, Sanchez. No, he lost the ball. He's trying to transfer. The ball popped out of his hand. And Nady reaches on a slow rolling infield single.
This is a yard sale. My goodness.
It's a good terminology for it.
We're going to give him a base hit, but this is a play that should be made. Major League shortstop should be able to make that play. And for the most part, Angel's been pretty reliable out there this year, if not spectacular. He's been steady. Just loses it on the transfer.
Now Soriano looking at ball one. He has an RBI double and a walk.
Boy, they do have some soft hits tonight,
yeah.
These Cubs. I mean, they've got a couple of doubles in the Grand Slam, but they also have some ugly ones. They all count.
We're looking around to see if we're at a Bread concert with all the soft hits. 8-0 Chicago.
David Gates.
Line drive loops foul. And it's a 1-1 count. That's the third Grand Slam by a Cub this season. Cubs lately, they haven't had this kind of an offensive outburst all that often here in the last month or so. Pitching has been really taking care of them in the win column. Inside. And it's 2 balls and a strike for Henry VR, one of the rookies at age 23 in that Astros bullpen. The bullpen, which seems to be pretty well stocked with some good young arms for next year. Line and caught by Sanchez. He throws to first. No double play. Nady got back.
He hit it too hard.
He did.
Is that one out already?
Already.
Wow.
Micah Hoffpower has been relied upon for 3 outs so far in 2 at-bats. He struck out. He grounded into a double play.
Ground ball to the pitcher was a hit. The blooper to center was a hit. Chopper to short was a hit. But the line drive, hang with him. You're out.
Sometimes it's hard to figure this sport. Here we are in game number 161. And we say the same thing all the time. Minnesota got 2 in the 9th to clip Toronto today. 5-4 at Target Field. Matt Capps the winner. They beat Kevin Gregg, and Edwin Encarnacion hit his 20th home run for the hard-hitting Blue Jays. Good quality pitch there, makes it 0-2. The Phillies shut out Atlanta 7-0. Atlanta getting 3 hits. And that game was scoreless until the 7th inning. Antonio Bastardo, the winner. Johnny Venters, the loser.
Phillies not letting up. Their pitching has been unbelievable. And scoring some runs lately, too. They're looking awfully good heading into the postseason.
97 wins. And they got to elect which format as the top seed in the National League they would choose. So they went with the 8-day format. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I think it's if their series goes the entire distance, it'll be 8 days.
Another hard hit ball is an out. It's a crazy inning and a double play as Brett Wallace takes care of that one. 4-run scoring on 4 hits with an error, and it's 8-0 Chicago. Hunter Pence leads it off against Carlos Zambrano. And takes a sinker for ball one. Hunter grounded back to Big Z in the first inning. Jay Happ in 3 innings plus gave up 8 hits and 8 runs, 7 earned, walking 5, fanning 3. That went off the end of the bat, rolls out to Baker. 1 out for Big Z. Spotted now with a huge lead as he tries to make it to an 8-0 finish to the season in his last 11 starts. He's 7-4 in his career at Minute Maid Park with an ERA of 3.35.
Jay Happ was undefeated in this ballpark coming into the start. 4-0, .94. His ERA here in 7 starts.
Rough night for Jay, throwing 89 pitches in 3 innings plus. Carlos Lee works the count to 2 balls, no strikes. 7 of the runs earned and 5 walks contributing there. Broken bat and is caught by Ramirez on a looping liner. He backpedals and then leaps. And he backpedals out of harm's way from the barrel of the bat. 2 outs.
Yep. Big Z got into the kitchen there. Carlos shatters his bat, and Ramirez able to make the play on it.
Incidentally, we just heard that Tyler Colvin is recovering from what proved to be a punctured lung when he was hit. And that broken bat hit him in the chest when he was a base runner at third base a few weeks ago. He's been sent home. A very dangerous accident involving the Cubs. Tyler Colvin. Ball 1 to Bogusevic.
And Major League Baseball has been studying the bat issue, the broken bat issue, for 2-3 years now at least.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see if Colvin's injury changes the thinking at all.
Yeah, it really will. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That bat was flying through the air. He was coming in from third, and pointed part of it, the broken part of it, hit him in the chest and punctured the chest cavity wall, from what we were told. Could have been worse. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And of course, there's been a lot discussed and written about the maple bats. They seem to present a bigger threat, but all kinds of bats are breaking and flying through the air.
But the maple bats break differently. It's a different wood than the ash, obviously, because one is maple and one is ash, and they break more dynamically, more explosively, whatever it is. There's something different about maple, that they break differently. And so instead of just kind of cracking, they explode.
Zambrano gets a strikeout on Bogusevic. That's his first K of the night. After 4, Cubs lead at 8-0. Texas Ford dealers. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Gullo Ford and Gullo Toyota, who bring you the 5th inning. Cubs lead at 8-0. They're batting now in the 5th, with Coy Hill leading it off against Henry VR. Hill doubled to right center in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. And he looks at ball 1. On the final day of the season in 1963, the Houston Colt 45s started 9 rookie players. The Astros have 5 rookies in the starting lineup for this game. 2 balls, no strikes. And they were trying to send out a message that there was room available on their roster for young players to sign and move quickly through the minor leagues. Wallace with the toss. 3-1 play, 1 out.
There's a little recruiting ploy, is that what you're
Certainly
saying?
so. Phil Boudreau said, Tal Smith said it was tough to sign players at that point because the Colt 45s had just started their existence a year before. A lot of young players were a little reluctant to sign with a new organization, not knowing how good, how competitive that organization would be. So that was one of the thoughts in putting together that lineup card that day.
Yeah, because that was prior to the draft. There was no draft in place.
Very good point. It was a grab bag.
Must have stopped Jimmy Wynn, Jerry Grody, Joe Morgan, Sonny Jackson among the players on that club.
Very good rookies. Zambrano's thrown out. 2 outs.
And Aaron Pointer as well, the brother of the Pointer sisters.
That's right.
Brock Davis, Glenn Vaughn, Jay Dahl.
Back in Old Colt Stadium. Brad Mills Club trailing 8-0 has 2 quick outs here from VR. Now it'll be Baker. Baker has scored 3 times. Walk, single, and an error, putting him on base in this game.
Average age of that lineup, 19 years and 4 months.
Wow. Jay Dahl was the pitcher who died in a car accident a year later. Strike 1 to Baker. Foul ball makes it 0-2 as Henry VR stays in. Longhorns had a rough game today.
Yeah, they made a little bit of a comeback, but 28-20, I think.
Oh, is that
Oklahoma beat them, yeah.
Okay. Fly ball. Bogusevic over into right center field for this one. In the 5th, it goes 1-2-3 for Henry VR. Cubs lead at 8-0. who'd never won a packet race all season long, somehow broke far out in front of the pack and won for the first time all year here on the next to last day of the season.
Wow.
It's number one.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who are they running with? There were some mascots down there I didn't recognize.
I didn't recognize them either, but.
Maybe from the minor league clubs?
Maybe so. They've been called up. Chris Johnson was strike one. He hit a bullet into center field in the second inning. There is warm-up activity. Felipe Paulino and Jeff Fulcino. And Greg Lucas reports on that race.
Well, it was a relay, and those were the mascots from Corpus Christi and Round Rock. Corpus had two, and, of course, they were the top farm clubs for the Astros this year.
Well, we're glad that you're keeping us abreast of all the details on this relay race.
Well, I do believe if we had a post-game show, this would be the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
So far, huh?
Have you ever interviewed a talking packet before?
Packets? No. All of those other mascots around the league have either put my head in their mouth or kissed me or whatever, but none of the packets.
And you got to know Rosie Red pretty well.
She even talked.
That's scary.
Mascots don't talk. I have never heard Junction Jack talk.
No, they're told not to talk.
No.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris Johnson. Wallace and Castro to follow in the Astros 5th. In the dirt, and it's 2-2. Final day of the season tomorrow, and Wandy Rodriguez was hoping to start but tried to play some catch, had some back spasms, so he has been scratched.
Well, the way the final starts have gone for the other guys in the rotation, probably a good thing to get out of there.
So it'll be Nelson Figueroa versus Ryan Dempster. And a swing and a miss by Johnson. Accounts for strikeout number 2 for Zambrano.
We've got Bogusevic in the 4th. Now CJ to start things here in the 5th. He's on cruise control with his comfortable lead.
Brent Wallace hit a fly ball to right in the second inning. 55 pitches for Zambrano, shooting for his 11th win of the year. Strike one. Zambrano not only has no-hit the Astros a couple of years ago, but he's flirted with no-hitters in some other games. Back in 06, he had a no-no for 7 1/3 against Houston. Good numbers in this one. Wallace fouls it away. Johnson and Castro have the 2 hits, both singles off Big Z. Only one runner has reached second base for Houston in this game. Florida 2, Pittsburgh nothing. Bottom of the 5th at Florida. That one swerves inside, and it's 1-2. Yankees got a run in the 10th at Fenway. They lead Boston 6-5. Bottom of the 10th now. Mariano Rivera in. Breaking pitch gets Wallace on strikes. That's 3 in a row for Zambrano.
They've got to play another game yet in Boston.
Yes, they do. Be at it for a while tonight.
Zambrano starting to mix in more breaking pitches.
Now, we've been told that he's now throwing a slow curveball that gets into the 60, probably high 60s for velocity. Matt Downs is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next.
It was a slow curveball right there at 69 miles an hour. Not as big as when you think of like Roy, the big looping one that Roy throws, but took a lot off of it. A little show me curveball trying to drop it into the strike zone to get ahead.
Bouncer to second. Baker with a flip. And that is 7 straight retired by Zambrano, but Mild is a winner tonight. And it is 8-0 Cubs through 5.
Reminder that spring training will be here before you know it. 2011 spring training is quickly approaching. It really is. Discover the magic of spring training and join the team in Florida next spring with great prices. Now is the time to get to spring training. Visit Astros.com/spring travel or call 800-892-7687. So much to do in the Kissimmee area in addition to Astros baseball. You got to take advantage of it.
I recommend Shell World.
You've been to everywhere else, I suppose.
Gatorland Jumperoo Zoo. Watch the famous jumping alligators come out of the water to eat the live chickens. No, they're not really live.
So anybody have any questions, just email JD, because he's obviously got all the obtuse and obscure places.
He's probably going for an ownership stake in Shell World, from the sounds of things.
Years ago, they used to have a place called Xanadu, the House of the Future, sitting there on 190.
1 ball, 1 strike, and it's Jeff Fulcino, pitcher number 3 in the game. Henry VR with a couple of scoreless innings, gave up 1 hit. Fulcino's 2-1, his ERA 5.63. He's facing Starlin Castro, who has a double, a walk, and a single, and has scored twice.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Fulcino.
Former Connecticut Husky. We need to get he and Esposito teamed up.
Yeah.
Ryan Esposito also went to the University of Connecticut.
Fouled away, and it's still a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Somebody made a play.
Nice play. Right there. Good kiss and a hug.
He's a hero.
Look at that. Good concentration. Uses the legs to get under the lights a little bit.
Fulcino gets another foul ball. He pitched Thursday night in Cincinnati. 1/3 of an inning. He allowed 3 hits and a run. Happy time for those folks. He's going to get a contract very soon. She had some fun with him. Oh, hit him. Got away from Fulcino and got Castro. Looked like maybe around the left elbow. He's shaking that hand.
Split finger pitch that just got away from Fulcino. If you're going to get hit, you'd rather get hit with the 82-mile-an-hour splitter than the 94-mile-an-hour four-seamer in the ribs.
He already has that left forearm reinforced. Now he's aboard, and it's Marlon Byrd who's driven in 3 tonight. He's 2 for 3.
Cubs have had 16 base runners in this game already.
Is that all?
That's all. And only half of them have scored. They've been good in the red zone.
Well, they left 12 on base last night and won 2-0. In that Yankee game, Joe Girardi used, 7 pitchers. Phil Hughes the winner with 1 inning of hitless relief. Mariano Rivera saved it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jonathan Papelbon lost on an unearned run.
Well, the Rays have a 4-0 lead over Kansas City in the 5th inning in Kansas City. And if they win that game, they'll keep pace with the Bombers. Still a half game back.
The all-important game 2 of the doubleheader coming up in Boston will tell a tale tonight going into the final day of the season.
How about the drama there would have been had there been no wild card this year in the AL?
Thoroughly interesting.
One of the race, that would have been. Mike Quaddy looking good as the potential full-time manager at the Cubs, serving on the interim basis right now as Lou Piniella shut it down early. Headed back home to Tampa, so Quaddy getting this audition, and seems to be a fair bit of momentum in his favor to hang on to this job.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity to play for Q many years ago in the minor leagues. I think he'd be a real good guy to play for.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Quaddy is a Chicago area native. He managed 17 years in the minors. He was the Cubs' third base coach. Tom Ricketts, the Cubs chairman, says expect a lower payroll next year. $146.6 million this year. Byrd strikes out. And Quade took over a club which was 23 games below 500. And right now the Cubs are 12 below. Ramos Ramirez hit a grand slam in the fourth inning. There's strike one. You already mentioned playing for Quade, and you enjoyed that experience. Just reading a book today, When the Game Changed, by George Castle of Chicago. An oral history of baseball's true golden age, 1969 through 79. He wrote about some managers, Leo DeRocher and Ted Williams, who were not well liked by pitchers. Deep drive to center. Bogusevic way back, turning on the warning track. Over the shoulder catch by Bogusevic. And no throw back to first as Castro hustles back on a deep drive by Ramirez. 2 outs. Good play by Bogusevic.
Ramirez hit that ball further than he hit his grand slam. Just directionally challenged this time. Out to the big part of the yard, and Bogusevic able to run it down.
Castro around second, so he had to retouch. Bogusevic has played all 3 outfield positions at Round Rock this year and first base. Now Nady will take strike one, but DeRocher not well liked by his players, and he tended to distrust rookies. And Quade's done the exact opposite. He's played his rookies a lot, and he tended to go with the same starting pitchers, and sometimes on short rests. He just really only wanted to put a lot of faith in the guys who had been there before. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kind of an irascible sort, wasn't he?
He was. It's hard to get along with. He felt that players were soft compared to when he played.
Could you imagine that management style now? No chance.
No, it doesn't have a chance of working. You're right. Hernandez with a grounder. And on over to first. No runs, no hits. A man left. Good catch in center by Bogusevic. It's 8-0 Cubs. It is 8-0 Cubs. Carlos Zambrano on the mound with the big lead, including an Ramos Ramirez grand slam in the 4th inning. And Matt Downs is a pinch hitter now for Jeff Fulcino, who in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs. Had no walks. He hit a batter and had a strikeout. There's strike 1 to Downs. 2 for 13 pinch hitting with 2 runs batted in for Matt. There was a waiver claim from the Giants by the Astros. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Downs has not started a game since September 18th. Fouls it back, and it's 1-2. We were talking about managers Leo DeRocher and Ted Williams, both coming in for a lot of harpooning in this book when the game changed by George Castle. And Ted Williams, according to the book, just really did not relate to pitchers at all, didn't have a lot of respect for them, didn't manage them well. Didn't really understand what it took to be a good pitcher. And he did change. The pitchers were able to convince him to listen to them on how they wanted to be managed and needed to be managed, and things did get better under Ted. Swing and a miss, and Downs is down on strikes. Number 4 for Zambrano.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of the great players have not been able to make the successful transition to manager or coach because they just couldn't understand how the average guy struggled in certain situations.
True.
And a guy like Williams, it was his mindset as a player, just basically hate pitchers to begin with. They were the enemy.
That's right.
It's kind of hard to now have them on your side and relate to them.
Well, he was manager of the year one year in Washington. Then the club moved to Texas. And his first year there, they lost 100 games. And they signed Denny McLain, and that was a major clash between Williams and McLain. Foul back by Hernandez. No balls, 2 strikes. Apparently, McLain arrived at spring training by piloting his own helicopter and landing on the practice field, and that didn't get him off to a very good start as a manager.
Teddy Ballgame probably flashed back, was going to shoot him out of the sky.
Well, there wasn't much mutual respect between those two to begin with. And then it evidently went downhill from that point. 1-2 to the point that late in the season, McLain having an awful year, and Williams said, well, let's go out before BP and we'll work on some things, and I will get in the box. And I don't know how old Ted was at that point, 50s probably. And he just started spraying line drives all over off McLain. That's a looping liner, left field line. Soriano makes a good running play. 2 outs. There was a story about him recently saying he wanted to work with Marlon Byrd and learn how to make diving catches.
You run real fast and then you dive. And hopefully you catch the ball.
That was not a diving. That was kind of a let's avoid diving, sliding catch. A good play, though. A bit awkward at the end. Angel Sanchez with strike 1. He's 0 for 2.
That swing.
That was an extremely tentative swing. Had a very good pitch.
There you go. That's the way to turn it loose.
0-2. The Cubs have been on a roll on these road games with swings like that from their opponents. They've given up 3 runs or less now in 14 straight games on the road since September 10th. That's the longest streak by the Cubs since 1920.
We got that one at 90 miles per hour, and that may be the best fastball he's thrown tonight. For the most part, it's been 87, 88.
He's thrown 74 pitches. And that's a strikeout looking. Number 5. Through 6 innings, it's 8-0 Cubs. BBVA compass showing you some hard hit balls by the Chicago Cubs. They have 8 runs on 9 hits, but the softer hits were falling in early. And then a grand slam came from Aramis Ramirez in the 4th inning. That was his 9th career grand slam, home run number 25 of the year. That's the BBVA compass video summary. And it's Matt Downs staying in the game after pinch hitting for the pitcher Fulcino, playing shortstop. Angel Sanchez leaving the game, going 0 for 3. And the pitcher, Felipe Paulino, goes into that number 2 spot in the order.
The Cubs have gone down in order only once so far in this game. That was in the 5th. Paulino comes on for the 19th time. 1 in 9, 5.22 ERA. He's worked 4 times since coming back off the disabled list. And last time out really struggled in Pittsburgh.
Strike 1 to Soriano. There's an RBI double, a walk, and a line out to short. Paulino just became a father for the 2nd time. He came back from that road trip for the birth of his 2nd child. Felipe gave up 3 hits and 4 runs in 1/3 of an inning last Sunday at Pittsburgh. The Mohawk look comes to Minute Maid Park. Well, that's a strike, and he struck him out. Took a while to get that ruling from Bob Davidson at first base.
Yeah, and as the hitter, you don't want to start running because that kind of commits yourself to, yeah, I did swing. But the ball goes off the glove, and if he takes off, he has a chance to get to first base, but it comes back to Castro, and he just applies the tag to complete the putout.
And what if it had trickled into the Cubs dugout?
He's on first base.
That's right. Off power takes ball 1. He is 0 for 3. Brad Ausmus managed the game for the Dodgers last night, and they lost. A terrible thing to have on Brad's record one day before retirement.
Joe Torre has done that over the years. When his team is out of contention or playing meaningless games towards the end of the year, he'll let a veteran player or 2 manage. Tonight it's going to be Jamie Carroll managing for the Dodgers.
And Torrey will manage tomorrow. 1-2, and says he does not foresee himself managing again.
But he doesn't rule it out.
No, he didn't totally rule it out. You're right. Ground ball up the middle and on through into center field. Hoffpauir has a hit.
You're talking about Leo DeRocher earlier, and here's a good one. This is from sports writer Dick Young.
Okay.
Years ago, and the quote is, "You and DeRocher are on a raft. A wave comes and knocks him into the ocean. You dive in, save his life. A shark comes and takes your leg. Next day, you and Leo start out even." Just some insight into Leo's personality.
Coy Hill is 1 for 3. A double to right center field.
Branch Rickey said of DeRocher, he had the ability of taking a bad situation and making it immediately worse.
Well, apparently, one trick that he pulled was leaving a game on a weekend afternoon in Chicago to attend I think it was his stepson's graduation somewhere in Wisconsin. But he did not ask for permission. He just took off after the 3rd inning of the game. And he said he was sick. And unfortunately for him, the Cubs sent the team physician to his apartment in Chicago, discovered he was not there, and later he turned up in Wisconsin. Got called on the carpet for that one.
Now, you guys would just leave and say, hey, I got to go away for a couple of days.
Wouldn't be any big issue. It's
a kinder and gentler game. DeRocher said that if his mother was rounding third with a winning run, he would trip her. He said, I'd pick her up and brush her off, but she's not going to beat me.
Now Paulino at 93 just blew it right by Coy Hill for a 2-2 count. This will be another situation involving an Astros decision. Paulino does have an option remaining, though, for next year. Last winter, Major League Baseball discovered that he had a rare fourth option year. And that's outside the left field line. Johnson watches it go back out of play. So no problem with sending him to the minor leagues if he stays in the organization. But how best to utilize Paulino with that kind of talent, that kind of arm? That becomes the question. He was injured almost all of one season. And that's how the additional option came into play. Swing and a miss and an off-speed pitch. And it's strikeout number 2 for Paulino. And this is the upside of Paulino, what he can do.
Well, yeah, he's got that 95-mile-an-hour heater, and if he can command an off-speed pitch like the one he just threw, he can be awfully tough regardless of how you use him, whether it's out of the bullpen or as a starting pitcher. He's got a great arm. Unfortunately, he got hurt this year, so it wasn't. You didn't get to see him over the long haul and get a sense of what he could become.
Strike to Zambrano. Well, Felipe's 26 years old. In 2008, he had one game at Round Rock. Had a pinched nerve in his arm. That slapped to short, backhanded down, drops it. No play at second, throws to first. And that's a better option for out number 3. No runs, a hit. One man left. It's 8-0 Cubs. That's the 9th slam of his career. Carlos Zambrano has given the Astros just 2 singles, one in the second, one in the third inning. He has struck out 5. And Jay Happ ran into major problems, giving up 8 hits and 8 runs, 7 of them earned in 3 1/3, walking 5 and fanning 3.
Yeah, the Cubs have had about 18 base runners. The Astros have had 3. So it's about as lopsided a game as you're going to see to this point.
New third baseman is Bobby Scales. Taking over for Ramirez, who was 1 for 3 with that grand slam and a walk. Scales at third base. Hunter Pence in the box. He's 0 for 2. And grounds one to Scales on one big bounce. High throw, and it goes into the crowd. Pence winds up at second. Scales had some fielding problems last night. He launched that one.
Takes an extra step there to kind of set his feet, and he has to hurry the throw. If he can kind of set himself a little bit sooner, he wouldn't have to hurry the throw.
I threw a ball away last night after it was ruled a hit by Hunter Pence. It really laced it at him and hit it off his body. So now it's Carlos Lee with ball one. Zambrano had set down 10 straight until the error by Scales. Lee is grounded to short and had a looping liner to third. That's the Cubs' 125th error of the year. They've allowed 97 unearned runs. It's 2-0.
Ubaldo Jimenez, who everybody, well, not everybody, that would be silly to say that, but some were talking about Ubaldo Jimenez possibly winning 30 games this year.
Yeah.
He's not going to win 20.
Not pitching again?
He pitched today, and he pitched to Dandy, but he got a no decision.
Oh.
Cardinals beat the Rockies 1-0 in 11 innings. So Ubaldo will finish with 19 wins.
Well, that was some kind of first half, though, to create that speculation about a 30-win season. Jason Michaels getting loose on the bench. It's 3 balls and a strike to El Caballo.
Clearly establishing himself as one of the best pitchers in the league now. 19-game winner, had the no-hitter earlier this year.
Three and two now.
Finishes with a 2.88 ERA and a 19-8 record. Pitching his home games in Denver, that's pretty impressive.
You bet it is. Rockies made a fabulous run until these final 10 days or so. That's bloop foul and out of play. Carlos seemed to be saying something. Lee to Zambrano a couple of pitches ago. After he dropped down and threw a slider to him.
Probably said, "Don't do that to me, man. It's final weekend of the season. Be nice. It's like a spring training game out here. Trying to have a little fun."
That's ball 4. Second walk for Zambrano. 2 on for Bogusevic now. Be a nice memory for Brian if he could connect here off Big Z. He's grounded back to the pitcher and he's struck out. Mike Quaddy at the helm. Larry Rothschild on the right, his pitching coach. And they have seen some superb pitching by the Cubs. Zambrano pitched shutout ball last time out. And that one dips low. Bogusevic taking ball 1.
First and second. Nobody out. This is a pretty big uprising.
Almost hit him. And the ball gets by Hill. Moving to third, Hunter Pence. Lee stayed at first on ball 2. Wild pitch. Hunter took off. Now it's first and third with a 2-0 count, nobody out. 2-1 to Bogusevic. Astros first round pick in 05 from Tulane, former pitcher. Now it's 3-1 to him. And ball 4 loads the sacks for Chris Johnson. Back-to-back walks, giving Zambrano 3 in the game. Rothschild comes out. 88 pitches for Zambrano.
One pitch at a time. You can read Larry's lips there. Just one pitch at a time. And try to get out of that crisis mode. Sometimes, these things start to go south for you as a pitcher. The wheels start to spin out there, and you look too far down the road. You're thinking, oh no, I'm in a big jam here. Just kind of go back to one pitch at a time. Just try to get out. So if you give up a couple of runs, so be it. Playing with an 8-run cushion.
Johnson looks at the slider, ball one. He rifled a single into center field in the second inning, struck out in the fifth. Brett Wallace on deck. Zambrano has pitched scoreless ball in each of his last 2 starts.
He's going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat here. Keep that string alive. CJ's done a lot of damage against the Cubs this year.
Ground ball third. Scales dropped it and gets the out at third as Pence scores. So a problem at third base defensively for the Cubs allows the Astros to score their first run of the night.
Yeah, double play ball, but Scales can't handle it. And able to scramble and get the one out at third base. Zambrano, when Rothschild went out there and probably said, hey, why'd you take my third baseman out?
Now it's Brett Wallace. And Wallace hits one to left center field. That's a gapper. It goes to the wall. It'll score a couple. Wallace checking in with a 2-run double. Now 8-3.
Well, here comes that 8-run comeback, Brownie.
It is underway. Wallace takes his hitting streak to 4 games. That's his 6th double. Gives him 13 runs batted in. These fans have been waiting for something like that.
Yeah, anything. Just something to make some noise about. And the Astros finally cross home plate here in the 7th inning. After a long scoreless drought. Error by Scales. An advance of this double by Wallace. Zambrano's night is over.
The scoreless inning streak of 19 comes to an end. Cubs pitchers had pitched 27 consecutive scoreless innings. Now the Astros break through, and it's 8-3. Back in a moment.
Astros have climbed within 5 with a 3-1 inning still going. Russell in relief. While the Astros season ends tomorrow, the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason is yours on Fox and TBS. The excitement which is building here, you can hear it in the background, begins October 6th with the Division Series on TBS.
The youngsters getting crazy here. Bobby Dynamite up on the train, imploring the fans to get loud. And lefty James Russell comes out of the Cubs bullpen, sporting a 1-1 record. His ERA is 5.03. And we'll get a pinch hitter now, Jason Michaels. Batting for Jason Castro, who was 1 for 2. Astros giving it a shot at a very big inning now with 3 runs home. And Michaels, who's been playing a lot in left field recently, coming to the plate with 8 homers, 26 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, 11 for 52 with 2 bombs. And this one goes to center field. Marlon Byrd backing for the catch, and he fires it in toward third.
You've got to be willing to empty the bench here to try to continue to mount this comeback, because you're running out of outs, and the Cubs have that rubber band man there, Marmol, to finish things off in the 9th.
Well, Brad Mills brought the powerful Michaels off the bench, and now there are 2 outs, and he hopes his number 9 hitter, Matt Downs, can get something reignited here. Downs struck out in the 6th inning as the pinch hitter for the pitcher. Russell delivers, and it's strike 1.
Russell, a 14th round pick of the Cubs back in 2007. His dad, Jeff, a longtime major league pitcher. James pitched collegiately at Texas. Up and down a couple of times with the Cubs this year.
14th round pick in 07. He was born in Cincinnati, one of his father's major league clubs. He throws a strike to Downs, gets in front 0-2 in the count. Russell is the 8th rookie southpaw in Cubs history to make 50 appearances. Downs is hit by the pitch on the right leg. And now Anderson Hernandez has runners at first and second. Hit by the 0-2 pitch on the back foot.
Also doing exactly what you want to do with that 2-strike breaking ball. Bury it towards the back leg of the hitter. Unfortunately for Russell, he got the back leg of the hitter.
Yeah, like he got him right above the knee on the thigh there. So that's a gift of sorts. The pitcher in front 0-2 in the count. And now the 8th man to bat in the inning, Hernandez, 0 for 2 with a walk. And Anderson, being a switch hitter, has that advantage of now turning around to bat right, so he doesn't have to leave the game for a pinch hitter. He was 0 for 2 batting left against Zambrano with a walk. As a right-handed batter, he is 1 for 5 this year.
Pitcher spot due up next. Jeff Keppinger waits on deck. If Hernandez is able to keep this inning going, Kep will get a shot.
Matt Lindstrom in the bullpen. Mets beat Washington 7-2. Igarashi got the win. Clippard the loser. Two balls and a strike. David Wright hit another one, his 29th. Two and one for Hernandez with 3 runs home for the Astros. And they've had only 1 hit in the inning. Really gotten some gifts from the Cubs in this rally. 3 and 1. An error on Scales started the inning, then 2 walks, and then Scales bobbled a double play ball and got an out, so he couldn't be given an error on that one, but it was certainly a misplay. Justin Berg is in the bullpen for Chicago. 3-2 now. Yankees in Boston getting ready to start game 2 now of that doubleheader at Boston. Daisuke Matsuzaka will be pitching for the Red Sox.
So 9:15 Eastern time as they start that game. Typically when those two teams get together, their average game is about 4.5 hours long.
Ground ball rolls out to shortstop. Castro over to first on the stretch by Nady. They get the out. And the Astros parade 8 men to the plate in the 7th inning. They score 3 times on only 1 hit. And it's now 8-3 Chicago. Drought. They had not scored in 21 innings. They came up with 3 in the 7th inning. And now Humberto Quintero goes in behind the plate after Jason Castro left for the pinch hitter, Jason Michaels. Quintero working with Felipe Paulino now in the 8th inning. Paulino's spot comes up first in the bottom of the 8th. So ideally, he puts up a 0 and then leaves for a pinch hitter. And he'll face the top of the order here. Baker has scored 3 runs in this game. He has a walk, a single, and he's reached on an error. It's going to be Darwin Barney pinch hitting for Baker. And Barney takes ball 1. Barney played last night. He's 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter this season. He was the starting shortstop, going 0 for 5 in last night's game. 2 balls, no strikes to the rookie shortstop. And he can play the other infield positions as well. Now it's 2-1 to Darwin Barney. Went to Oregon State. Born in Portland, Oregon.
Does that make him a duck or a beaver?
I'm not sure. If he went to Oregon State, he's a beaver.
So Oregon makes you a duck.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's see. The Ducks are trailing Stanford 28-17 currently in the 2nd period. That's a big game out west. You see that piece today in the Cardinals two-way player?
No.
Yeah.
Man, I was aware of the fact that they had one.
You don't see two-way players in college football anymore.
No, not at the big-time level.
Pretty surprising.
Some of the smaller schools you do.
Strikeout number 3 for Paulino. Now Castro, who has a double, a single, and a walk. He's been hit by a pitch on base all 4 times. Gets a breaking pitch, and it's strike 1 to Castro, just 20 years old. Last year he divided the season between Class A Daytona and Double A Tennessee. Called up at age 20, youngest shortstop in Cubs history. No balls, 2 strikes from the Dominican. He hit a 3-run homer off Homer Bailey of Cincinnati in his first at bat, making him the 6th Cub to do that. And then 3 innings later, he hit a bases loaded triple. 6 runs batted in. Major league record for a debut.
I hate to peak that early.
Dave Raymond's not peaking. He's following those Stanford Cardinals.
I know. See, he's looking at the TV right there in the booth.
Yeah. One eye on Stanford, the other one on this ball game. A lot of pressure on Dave Raymond to watch those 2 sporting events at the same time and be able to describe the action here. And now he's wondering why in the world we're putting him on TV. There's strikeout number 4 for Paulino. By the way, speaking of West Coast sports, as we'll see this strikeout, good action there down and in. Now, Jeff Blum was talking about that Cal baseball program we discussed last night. Marlon Byrd has driven in 3. He is 2 for 4 in this game. And of course, Jeff and a lot of former Cal baseball players really saddened by that news. They tried to do what they could do, but their attempts were rebuffed. And so baseball is going down the tubes at Cal. And it's been a good program here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
118 years.
Wow.
They played college baseball at Cal. Now they're going to shut the program down. Turned out to more than a handful of big league players. A couple MVPs, Jackie Jensen and Jeff Kent. Ooh. Hey, look at those folks in there. 1988.
Yeah.
Astro jerseys.
We used to watch you wear that jersey. Throw those high fastballs.
Probably a big Eric Yelding fan there.
Fly ball to center field. Bogusevic with the catch in the 8th inning. That's the second scoreless frame for Paulino, and it's still 8-3 Cubs. Dealers, league leaders, shows you the Astros minor league MVPs this season. Broken down. Now, Drew Lock, the MVP of Round Rock Express, last year was the MVP of Corpus Christi. This year, Kobe Clemens with 26 homers gets the Corpus Christi MVP honors. It was Brandon Barnes, an outfielder at Lancaster, driving in 80. Jacob Gobert at Lexington drove in 98. At Ben Orloff at Tri-City won the MVP there with 23 steals. Telvin Nash won the Greenville Award with 39 runs batted in. And they were all here to receive their awards this weekend, coming to the Big League Park, Minute Maid Park in Houston, to get those awards. Special thrill for them. Good for the fans to see them. We will have a pitching change here, and Justin Berg will be coming in. James Russell coming out because the Astros have a pinch hitter announced, and he's right-handed, Jason Bourgeois. Back in just a moment. Cubs 8, Astros 3. Awards in the Astros minor league system. Jordan Lyles, the right-handed pitcher who came up from AA to AAA during the season, getting his award as the organizational pitcher of the year. And J.D. Martinez, the player of the year, an outfielder. And Omar Lopez there, he was the development man of the year, managing the Astros Gulf Coast League affiliate. There they are. Jordan Lyles on the left, J.D. Martinez middle, and Omar Lopez right.
And Lyles, a very young man, was just 20 years of age.
Yes.
Pitching in AAA, AA, and AAA, pretty impressive. And Martinez, his stock has really risen this year.
Yeah, his combined numbers at Lexington, which is A ball, and Corpus Christi AA. You see Justin Berg 0-1 with 5.26 ERA. Very, very good numbers. Jason Bourgeois, the pinch hitter now for the pitcher, Paulino, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Martinez in those 2 levels, A and AA, combined numbers 341, 18 homers, 89 runs batted in, 107 runs scored. Got 183 hits this year.
And he was not the most valuable player of his team at Lexington because he got called up, but he was named the MVP of the league. The other managers in the league voted him the MVP. And with the managers, they weren't looking at just the numbers. I think they were looking at who impressed us the most. And kind of a lot of people's attention.
South Atlantic League's Most Valuable Player Award, as you mentioned. And he was a midseason and postseason All-Star. And he's had 2 years in the minors, and he's played at 4 different levels. He's hit above 300 at each. Career minor league average 343 for a 20th round draft choice. Bourgeois rolls to second. And there's 1 out in the 8th inning. So that was excellent drafting in June 09. 20th round pick, J.D. Martinez. Barney is in the game at second base. He took over for Baker, and he made that play. Now it's Hunter Pence, 0 for 3. And Jordan Lyles, in his combined service this year, was 7-12 with a 3.57 ERA. And in 158 2/3 innings, he struck out 137 while walking 46 rather. Pitch in tight to Hunter. Ball 1. And Jordan Lyles would not have to be placed on the Major League roster, of course, this winter, but a pretty good chance he's going to be invited to spring training as a non-roster player. Strike for Hunter Pence. He had been considered as a September call-up, but with that 158 inning figure, that was time to shut him down. Bouncer goes foul. And it's a 1-2 count for Justin Berg, 26 years old, from Antigua, Wisconsin. Pitched for the Cubs last year 11 times. He's appeared 6 times this year against the Astros. Hunter Pence got an RBI single off him here on the 26th of July. Rain delay in Chicago. The White Sox lead Cleveland 6-2 after 6. Still 1-2. Hunter swinging at that pitch, which was hanging up there.
Yeah, Burke got lucky there. He got away with that one. His best pitch is a sinker. Tall right-hander. Works against a firm front side and uses that leverage to get good sink on his fastball.
He had some movement there. Strikeout looking. 2 outs. Brought that ball back to the inside, to the outside corner rather.
We'll see where Hill sets up, and Byrd dots that outside corner, maybe a little bit off. Hill setting up out there, able to influence the home plate umpire and get the call.
Yeah, I thought he did the way he framed it. He really did a nice job for his pitcher. Carlos Lee looks at ball 1. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Rally cap.
Rally glasses.
Folks got their Biggio bobbleheads. Strike makes it 1-1. Tampa Bay 4, Kansas City nothing. Bottom of the 8th in Kansas City. Carl Crawford hit his 19th. for the Rays. Banged off his leg. It's 1-2 to Carlos. Tomorrow, everybody shakes hands, wishes each other well over the winter, and heads for various spots. Carlos, of course, has a ranch in this area, another in Panama.
And the most common phrase in the clubhouses will be, now I get to pick my own friends. Don't have to hang out with you dirtbags anymore.
7 months together, including spring training. Ooh. Hit by the pitch, and that was almost all the way behind him.
Yeah. Impossible to get out of the way of that one.
That's going to be it for Justin Byrd. Brian Bogusevic, who bats left, is due up next. Mike Quade already has signified that he wants a lefty coming in this game. Berg is leaving with the score 8-3 Chicago. We'll be right back. The left rib cage area. Now all smiles alongside Bobby Meacham, as he's the base runner with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. It's 8-3 Cubs. Lefty reliever Scott Main comes in. Now the Astros are going to make a counter move, and instead of lefty hitting Brian Bogusevic, it's going to be Jeff Keppinger batting for him.
Well, these guys are managing hard right down to the wire, looking for every possible advantage.
Absolutely. Regardless of how many games they have in the win column, they're going all out for this one. Jeff Keppinger, at the end of a solid season, which has found him hitting .289 with 6 homers, 59 runs batted in, has gone 1 for 3 pinch hitting. And he takes strike 1. Keppinger was 0 for 4 last night.
Main busting that one up there at 93 miles an hour.
Main came up August 24th. And almost hitting. He popped it up. Coy Hill moving back behind the plate. And in the 8th inning, it's no runs, no hits, and a runner stranded. Moving to the 9th. Cubs lead the Astros 8-3. 2 spot in the order. The new pitcher, Matt Lindstrom, goes to the 5 position in the lineup. He's 2-5 with 23 saves and a 4.47 ERA.
He's got Bobby Scales, Xavier Nady, Alfonso Soriano due up for the Cubs. Scales came in place of Ramos Ramirez.
He's all over that pitch. Ground ball single into right field for Scales. The Cubs have 11 hits. Now Nady got an infield hit in the 4th. He's 1 for 4. Baltimore beat Detroit 2-1. Brian Mattis won his 10th. Armando Galarraga lost. He's 4-9.
Showalter's going to get manager of the half year.
Yeah. Let's see. The Orioles are 66-95. But they've certainly perked up since he put on their uniform. Fly ball goes out to right center field. Hunter Pence moving to his right. 1 down. And now Alfonso Soriano will bat. Got an RBI double in the 2-run Cubs first. He also has a walk. 1 for 3 tonight. Oh, there should be some excitement in the final day of the season. There's the Biggio bobblehead right there.
Got some heft.
You could use it as a paperweight, JD.
Yeah. I would throw it out to the fans in the 7th inning stretch, but that might hurt.
Looks like it's true to form with those dirt patches all over the right side of it there.
Yeah, but the bat would be coming from up there from Biggs.
Yeah.
He went from high to low pretty good.
There's strike 1 to Soriano. Kind of should be a very interesting final day with these races so tight. No balls, 2 strikes as Matt Lindstrom goes to work here.
Yeah, everybody will try to explain who has more pressure on them. Well, Atlanta is playing at home and they lost 2 in a row, so they have more pressure on them. But the Giants are playing at home and they've had 2 in a row and they had a 3-game lead. The bottom line is they all have an extreme amount of pressure on them. All 3 clubs in that. Heads up.
Wallace can't get it. Broken bat looping single. Anderson Hernandez finds that he can't grab it on the first try, but the runner had already stopped at second. Scales.
Wow, how about that for a base hit? Soriano's had a couple of them in this series. Just about as ugly as you could get, or as pretty as you could get, depending on your point of view. Lindstrom just shatters his bat. Gets it about 100 feet and gets a base hit.
A lot of action on that ball. There was a bat. There was a sliding Hernandez. And he finally tracked it down. Now Hoffpower. He's 1 for 4. 2 men on. And Lindstrom misses ball 1. Yeah, final day of the season. You're going to have that big San Francisco-San Diego game, the Philadelphia-Atlanta game, the Yankees at Boston, hated rivals. Red Sox would love to inflict a damaging loss on the New Yorkers. And Tampa Bay also striving for that best record in the AL East. So several meaningful games are coming up tomorrow. Sometimes we have that final day batting race quandary, but that will not be the case this season. Breaking pitch works for Matt Lindstrom. It's 1-2. But nonetheless, there'll be a share of the drama for baseball fans tomorrow. And possibly even a 1-game playoff somewhere on Monday. Maybe a couple. Well, there'd only be 1, right? Let's see. That's ball 2.
Yeah,
2 and 2.
There's no potential for any kind of a extra game in the American League.
No.
If Yankees and Rays tie, that'll just be decided based on their head-to-head, and I think Tampa Bay wins that.
Yes.
So they would be the division champion in the Yankees would be the wild card, kind of like the Astros Cardinals that year.
Softly hit, Hernandez to his left, and he goes to second for the force play there. Getting Soriano, scales to third. Off power reaching, 2 outs.
Scheduled pitchers in the San Francisco. I thought it was Lincecum, but according to this put out by MLB, it's Latos and Jonathan Sanchez.
Okay. Well, maybe they've decided to hold off Lincecum in case there's a 1-game playoff Monday. But we had heard that they wanted to keep him available for Sunday, so evidently they've changed off that plan.
Well, they may not have been planning on losing these first 2 games either, so there's no guarantee that he won't be the guy tomorrow.
For sure. There's ball 1 to Coy Hill. Hill 1 for 4. With the Rays tonight, not knowing exactly what the circumstances were, but they only used their starting pitcher, Andy Sonnenstein, for 2 1/3 innings. Now the runner goes to second base on that pitch in the dirt. Off-powered bench.
Yeah, Tampa Bay would like to finish with the best record and have home. Well, I don't know if they want home field advantage with that.
Yeah.
17,000 for the playoffs.
True.
But so it's important, but it's not that important. Obviously, what Joe Madden's most concerned with is making sure his pitching is lined up for the division series.
He's leading right now 4-0 over Kansas City, bottom of the 8th. Strike makes it 2-1. We don't know if Sonnenstein was injured or not, but he didn't last very long in that game. Tampa Bay got 2 in the first inning. That's there for strike 2 call. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He brought Chad Qualls in the 3rd inning, and then he's used starters in relief. Hellickson for an inning, Price for an inning, and so on down the line. Interesting pattern of using pitchers by Joe Madden tonight. 3-2 now. Reading that book we were talking about earlier about the Cubs in '69, they had the big lead over the Mets, and the Mets were, I guess, one of the first teams to go predominantly with a 5-man rotation, according to that book. And sometimes they used 6 starters, and they platooned at a lot of positions, so their players were fresh. The Cubs players grinding it out every day, and they were pretty well burned out. There's the walk to Hill to load the bases, and then the Cubs faded and lost by a pretty good margin. The Brad Mills club has had to face a whole lot of traffic on the bases by the Cubs. They have 12 hits. They've received 6 walks. There's been a hit batter. And now the number 9 spot comes up.
And really the 3 runs the Astros scored, really a gift because of a couple of walks and some real sloppy defensive play. The Astros just 3 base hits in this ball game.
The pinch hitter is Brad Snyder. Snyder got the RBI in the 1-0 Cubs win on Thursday. Snyder was a starting left fielder last night, going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Fastball in there for strike 1. Brad was drafted in '03. It took him a while to get here, but he's had 22 at-bats with 5 hits and 5 runs batted in. 2 for 5 pinch hitting with 2 driven in. 1 ball, 1 strike to Snyder. Snyder, a first-round choice by the Indians in '03. Born in Sandusky, Ohio. Not too far from Cleveland. Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Snyder went to Ball State University. Right there for strike 3. Lindstrom gets out of bases loaded difficulty in the 9th inning. No runs, 2 hits, 3 men stranded. Cubs 8, Astros 3. .150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Been a gorgeous night here in downtown Houston at Minute Maid Park. The Cubs came right out of the gate, scoring 2 in the first. They added 2 more in the second. They got a 4th inning grand slam from Aramis Ramirez. The youngsters are not bothered by that at all as they play the air guitar. Try to get their pictures up on the video screen. And they're waiting also for the Astros to bat here in the 9th inning. And pitcher number 5 comes out of the Cubs bullpen for Mike Quade tonight. He is right-hander Marcus Mateo from the Dominican Republic.
Let's see if the Astros have an answer for Marcus. Chris Johnson will get things started. Mateo's been out there 19 times, 0-1, 6.20 the ERA. The ERA a little bit deceiving because the other numbers are solid, except for the home runs. 6 home runs in 20 1/3 is a big number. But good strikeout numbers. And you see why. You can rush it up there. 95 plus. Just probably needs to be a little more discerning with that 95 plus.
That one was in a tough spot to hit a homer for a right-handed batter. Strike 1 on CJ. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Little chop swing. Produces a little chop grounder. Barehanded, and Castro makes an excellent play. 1 out.
Yeah, he's made a bunch of errors this year, but very good athlete, great range. He can smooth out his game. He'll be just fine.
That's a slick play. Very athletic. Brett Wallace with a 2-run double to left center is 1 for 3 in this game. And there's his pitch, too. He fouls that one away. Strike 1. He can take a pitch like that and hit it to left and left center very adeptly.
Hold up, baby.
What are we talking about there? 4 or 5 months, maybe? One ball and 1 strike. $36,098 the paid attendance tonight. The Astros are up over 2.2 million in home attendance this year.
Guys had the rally cap on for about 8 innings. What happened? The Astros were down early, so it's time to break it out.
Maybe he wears it like that all the time. Let's see. Tonight's crowd would put the Astros just about at 2.3 million. Foul back. An average of almost 29,000 per game at home. Good home support this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It was Certainly a difficult beginning to the season. 0-8. In that 9-20 month of May was a test. But the loyalty has been strong by the Houston fans. And that's foul. Still 2-2. There will be stories, too, about some of the various clubs and what changes they might be making, like that New York Mets situation. Nothing's officially come out yet, but Sports Illustrated is reporting that General Manager Omar Minaya will not return in his present position, and neither will the skipper Jerry Manuel. Tony La Russa pondering his future in St. Louis, according to recent stories.
Yeah, don't know who's going to manage the. Well, we do know who's going to manage the Dodgers. We don't know who's going to own the Dodgers. Donnie Mattingly will step in for Joe Torre. I'm not sure what ownership is going to look like in L.A. Marlins are going to need a manager.
Yeah. Little tap. Barehanded, and Mateo throws. 2 outs.
Jim Henry's going to have to make a decision here in Chicago. Whether it's Mike Quade or someone else, perhaps Ryan Sandberg.
One of the interesting stories involved the fact that they wanted to interview Freddie Gonzalez for the Cubs job, and he declined. And many have speculated that he will be the next Atlanta Braves skipper. Now Humberto Quintero up for the first time. 235 hitter, fouls it away, strike 1.
Ken Maka appears to be in trouble in Milwaukee. Not sure about John Russell in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, there could be quite a merry-go-round for managers.
Is Q trying to reposition somebody or stretch his neck? I'm not sure.
Couldn't tell. Starlin Castro makes it academic as he makes the grab for out number 3. And the Cubs have won the first 2 of this series under Mike Quade. They're now 24-12, and they've won 8 of 12 series. They take this one. Final score, Cubs 8, Astros 3.